Hey guys, wanted to talk to y'all today about whether or not you should charge a nominal fee for consultations, intro sessions, for the very first session with people, right? Should you charge a nominal fee? And here's my take on this, okay? So I understand that the reason that most people ask this question is not really about this is not necessarily like a monetization strategy for them, right? You're not going to get rich off of your $100 intro sessions or $200 intro sessions. I mean, maybe if that's the business model that's, that you're trying to do. But you're not going to make, even like I say, get rich, but I mean, that's probably not the way you're going to make your income, is from those, just hosting these one-on-one sessions and getting this nominal fee charge from these one-on-one sessions. For most of you, the bulk of your income is going to come from people signing up and saying yes from these sessions and working with you, in a bigger package in an ongoing way. So the reason that most people ask me this question is when they've done one too many consultations that have been a total waste of time. People have showed up unprepared, unfocused, distracted, tire kickers, freebie seekers. They don't respect you. They waste your time. They don't value you. They don't see you as an authority. They want to meet up for coffee. They want to pick your brain. They want to, they're just a waste of time. And they don't result in a client. They don't result in a sale. They don't result in a referral. They're just a big waste of time. And it's really frustrating and it's really, maddening sometimes, right? And so people are like, well, maybe if I charge a fee, then I'll stop getting so many tire kickers and freebie seekers, right? I'll stop getting people who don't value me and don't value my time. So that'll be like a block, a wall between me and them. And I want to 100% acknowledge that your time is extremely valuable. I probably think it's even more valuable than you may even believe that it is. I find that actually to be very common, is that when I talk to people and they don't even realize how incredibly important and valuable their time is, and how you should not be giving it away without getting something in return. Because if you want to achieve, the quicker you want to achieve your goals, the more important it is for your time to be spent effectively and efficiently. If you have time to waste and you can dilly-dally and, oh well, who cares, whatever, then yeah, your time may not be that important. But if you don't have years and months and decades to waste, then you need to make sure that you are not giving away your time without getting something very specific in return. Okay, but does that mean that a consultation fee is the answer? So, like I said, the reason people consider this is because they want to attract people who are serious about getting help, and they make the assumption that somebody spending $50, $100 for a consultation fee means they're more serious. And, because it is important to get people who are serious on the phone, but what happens is that unfortunately that's often an incorrect assumption. What ends up happening instead, typically, is that people, and I know this because I did this, work twice as hard, if not significantly more than twice as hard, spend twice as much money, if not significantly more than twice as much money, to get people on these paid consultations, right? And they still are not necessarily serious about working with you. So just because somebody is paid $47 or $97 or even $200, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're serious about working with you in a greater capacity. It just means it's harder to book a sales conversation. It's just harder to book a consultation. And like I said, I tried this early in my business and it just took a lot more work to book calls. And the people that I talked to were unserious, unqualified for many other reasons. So if a consultation fee is not the answer, but you still need to protect your time and attract really serious people, what is the solution? What is the answer? And the answer is actually, it's pretty simple. It's not necessarily easy, but it's pretty simple. And the answer is that you need to learn how to qualify prospects. And the way that you qualify prospects is learning sales. You have to learn the skill of sales to be able to correctly qualify serious prospects. And that consultation fee is just like this teeny tip of the iceberg for like so many other more powerful qualifiers than that. And I'll tell you how I know this is from closing $1 million contracts. It was the difference between people who spent months and months with people who would never close, people, other people missing out on closing really great deals, and those who didn't. It was knowing how to qualify people. It was a skill that took me, in my sales career when I was closing $1 million contracts, it took me, I would say, a couple years to really understand. Maybe by year 3, I was kind of in the groove, and I was like, oh, I get this now. I get what I'm supposed to be doing now. But it is the difference between wasting time with people, following up, chasing people for months, and also being able to close people that other people cannot close. Okay, you have to know the difference between people who are closable, people who are not closable, and that is about qualifying. And so, how to qualify people is and should be built into sales trainings. So the best sales trainings definitely build in how to qualify people. And if it isn't, I would really challenge how good of a program it is. But the thing is that I can't give you cookie cutter qualifying questions, right? Nobody can. And if they do, again, I would be very wary, because I learned this from closing very, very big contracts, is that the qualifying questions are unique to your offer. They're unique to your offer. They're unique to your ideal client. They're unique to what it is that you're bringing to the table and who it is that values that. And every single, so in my sales career, I leased office buildings essentially, and every single new building that we brought in and that we leased, we created a series of qualifying questions, a series of qualifiers, a series of qualifying prerequisites. Every single building was unique and was slightly different and was nuanced. And it was just different. Every single building was different. There were patterns for sure, but again, how you learn those patterns is understanding sales. It is understanding those sales skills. That's how you were able to take that offer, and in my case, my whole career was office buildings, and turn that offer into qualifying questions, into unique qualifying questions, is understanding how sales is. Now, once you start to learn how sales works and how to, the process of sales, depending on how clear your offer is, you may get those qualifying questions right away. But for most people, what happens, especially for a service-based offer. Now, when people have a really tangible offer, again, it kind of depends on how well defined the value proposition is. But for a service-based offer, it can take a little bit more critical thinking and discernment, which can take some time. But the fastest way to discover how to qualify people and get your time back is learning sales, is having a great sales teacher coaching you through that and giving you feedback, okay, just like any other skill, and practicing it regularly, right? Again, just like any other skill you want to learn, that's the fastest way to learn it. Teaching, getting feedback, and practicing. And so what happens then is that these free calls, if you're not charging a fee, now they are giving you a place to practice and to learn. And as soon as you learn a critical qualifier, because there's going to be a list of qualifiers, right? So as soon as you learn a critical one, you're like, oh yeah, I only want this kind of person. This is the only kind of person who's going to say yes to my offer. Immediately you stop taking calls with people who are unqualified. Boom, you get more of your time back. Boom, you're able to focus on attracting more qualified people because you actually know what the qualifier is, not just pay me $100 and that's the qualifier. No, it's okay, now I know I really need people who have an email marketing list of over 5,000 people. Or now I know that I absolutely need people who I don't know, I'm blanking on any non-business examples, but, people who already have a unique value proposition nailed down, or, maybe if you're let's say you're like a love coach or something, maybe you want to qualify people who've already done some personal training before they work with you because you really want to do the more advanced stuff or whatever, right? So again, 100% depending on your offer. But as soon as you learn that critical qualifier, you get to stop taking calls with unqualified people and only take calls with people who are qualified. So again, let's use the love coaching example. Now, as soon as somebody said, no, you're the very first person I've ever worked with on my mindset or whatever, now you can say, okay, I'm not going to talk to that person, and I'm going to go into my copy and say, like, this is right for you if you've already tried personal development and you've struggled with it and you've failed, whatever that is, right? You've already tried all the different things. So you now are starting to pull in more qualified people because you know what that qualifier is. And then you learn another qualifier. You're like, okay, now I want people who've, been in, they've had a relationship before. This isn't their very first relationship. Okay, I'm going to put that now. Now I'm talking to those people, right? So it becomes, and on and on until you are only on calls with the most qualified people. And, so every discovery of a true qualifier leads to one less call with an unqualified prospect. More clarity on the kind of work you need to do to attract the right people, the right copy, the right places, right? Because again, if you're talking about you're a love coach and you're like, I really want to work with widows, right? You're going to go to very different places than if you want to work with singles who are in a hurry to, have a baby, right? Very different places you're going to go to attract those kinds of clients, different copy you're going to use, different content you're going to use to attract those people. You get more qualified people. And yes, the last thing I want to share was the beautiful thing about this too. The other major benefit is that while you're learning your qualifiers, because you're also learning sales, some of those people who slip through are going to be awesome prospects. You're going to close them. You're going to get amazing clients, right? So, and you're going to close people that you would not have closed before. And they're going to be who are going to be amazing clients because you've learned the skill of sales from somebody who knows how to teach it in a way where you learn how to do the qualification process. So, and like I said, if you put like a barrier that was like a fee there, you would have missed that person who could have been really an amazing client who just wasn't, who would have needed a lot more work on your part, a lot more warming up on your part to be willing to pay that. When if you offer it to them complimentary for free, they're just going to say yes because there's a lower barrier for them to say yes to that. And they're going to be ready to work with you because they're ready to work with you, not because they're ready to pay $100 for an initial session with you. Because the sales structure itself is really, really powerful to supporting people in making a really good decision for themselves to get help if it is the right time for them. Versus so the difference, I just want to make one more point, is that sales copy is talking at people. It's making assumptions about people. It is, and it is great for weeding, for attracting the right people, right? But a one-on-one sales conversation talks about you uniquely. It talks about your situation. It talks about what's important to you specifically. And so when I connect the dots between what is specifically important to you and what I offer, you make sales so much faster than if you're talking about like some ideas to what you want. Now you can still make sales, right? But it's way easier for people to say yes when they know with certainty that their situation is solved by your offer. So that's why the beauty is of being able to do sales conversations with people and being able to close people that you wouldn't have been able to close with copywriting, even amazing copywriting. Okay, so summary, TLDR. A nominal fee doesn't really help you save your valuable time because it actually makes you spend more time on the front end getting people in that consultation. And it doesn't help you get only qualified people. Only strong sales skills can help with that. A strong salesperson is a strong qualifier. The heart of sales is actually being able to qualify people. Now, I will say one last thing. If you are really amazing at qualifying people and a fee is the very last thing you want to use to qualify people, fine. Yes. But I very strongly recommend against it being the very first thing that you use to qualify people. And definitely not before you really feel comfortable and solid in your sales skills, because you will repel more people than you will attract. And you will lose out on people that you could have totally closed had you just said, I'm going to learn sales skills and learn how to do it the right way. And last thing I want to say about that, because I do know that as a person with a sales background, I forget this a lot. And so I do want to add one more caveat here, which is like, I've never really seen, I'm not sure that's totally true, but I feel like I've never really seen sales as overly like pushy or manipulative or sleazy or slimy, and I know a lot of people do. To me, I learned sales from the very beginning of my career, of my life. I grew up with my dad as a salesperson. I always saw sales as a mutually beneficial consultation. And all that it is about is helping the right person make the right decision and connect the dots between what they want and what your offer is. And if it's a good fit, awesome. And if it's not, awesome. So when I say learning sales, I am not talking about being pushy or sleazy or slimy or manipulative or any of that stuff. I'm simply talking about the authentic, heartfelt way of supporting people in making a good decision for themselves, whether it's to work with you or to do something different. And that's the kind of sales I'm talking about. So I'm definitely not talking about if you're taking a sales training and it feels sleazy or slimy or pushy or whatever. I just want you to kind of tune in with yourself and either ask yourself, is this training actually really kind of pushy and manipulative? Or is it, am I misunderstanding it? And the way I need to perceive it is to be supportive of the person that I'm talking to and to support them in making the right decision for them. And it may be a combination of something thereof, right? Like it may be a combination of, it seems pushy, but that's just, like a misinterpretation of the structure, or it could be like kind of a manipulative tactic, and you feel that it is out of alignment with what you want. And to me, that's like everybody should be in my program, and everybody is right for my program, and I don't care anything about you and your backstory. You should join my program. Like that to me, that close at all costs, get to the yes, somebody's being sold on the call, either it's you or it's them. Like that to me is like, no, that's about you pushing your agenda on somebody else, not you finding a mutually beneficial relationship together. That would be like you trying to convince somebody to be your boyfriend or girlfriend or life partner or marry you when they don't really want to. Like, who wants that? You want to be in a relationship where both people want to be there. You don't have to trick somebody into wanting to be with you. But the difference between, relationships and sales is that you do have a specific offer that you want to support people in connecting the dots between their current situation, what they desire, and how your offer supports them in reaching that desired outcome. And then if it's a good fit, awesome. And if it's not, awesome. And there's a specific structure to that. It's not a like, if you don't learn sales in a heartfelt way, in an authentic way, you're putting way too much responsibility on your prospect to do all the hard work. When you're already probably asking them to do some other kind of work or make some other kind of sacrifice in working with you, you want to like ease the burden for them as much as you possibly can. And that's beneficial for them and it's beneficial for you. And because if you make them do too much translating, do too much work, they're just going to get distracted and lost and confused, and they're going to find somebody who does a better job of translating it into a language that they understand that connects with their desires and needs. So that's what I wanted to share with you about that. But I'd love for you to tell me, just, take a minute to just kind of think about your own sales process and your own qualification process, and what do you feel like you would need to learn more about to feel more confident in your own qualification process, to feel confident that you are repelling the right people and that you're attracting the right people, and that you're not using too many assumptions to disqualify people, and too many assumptions. I would say honestly that is one of the biggest mistakes, is people making assumptions about disqualifiers that actually have nothing to do with that actually have to do with somebody who is ready and willing and able and is a good fit for your offer and your program. And so you really have to challenge some of those assumptions to get to the truth, to find out what the deeper qualifier is that really is right for you. All right, let me know what you think. Take care. Bye.